Well, hello there, thugs and thugettes. So, in some videos I get asked, when you buy an engine, what do you look for? Is there anything you check before you buy it? Just typical questions that don't really, it's hard for me to make a video on. But I figured maybe I'll try this go around because I'm literally on my way to pick up an engine that I lowballed the guy for, and he said yes. So here we are. It's just a five.
Stop sign. Turn right.
Oh no. You know how I feel about them females talking while I'm talking. But it's just a cheap 5.3, so I figured just make a little video. Some people stop asking me, but for some reason will continue to still ask me. What do I look for? What do I check? And I'm gonna kind of throw in what's like a good simple engine to look for, or what's like the best, most simple engine to look for to get if you're looking to LS swap your ride for the first time. So let's go pick up this engine real quick. Hopefully, well, maybe it won't be out of his ditch or his backyard. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be on nice, concrete pavement garage, and it'll be a nice little 5-minute ordeal, not 30 minutes of us staring at it in the ditch trying to figure out how we're gonna get it out. So let's do that, and then get to this, and then get to that, and then we'll do some more yapping. Okay, we made it, which it was literally like 3 miles from me, which is another reason why I got it. But I've had this one sitting in the background for quite some time now. Literally, well, not literally, but they're both 5.3s. This is drive-by cable, so this is earlier. This is 0102, I believe. I paid $500 for this one. It's just as complete as that one. Except for obviously no coil packs, because I actually sold them to this customer because, long story short, the ones he brought me were very corroded because he's from up north. So anyways, the way it works for me is, if I don't necessarily need to have these sitting around, but for me, I make sure to get them cheap enough so that if I need parts. Now what parts? I mean, that one I paid $400 for. It's worth $400 in parts. Intake, flywheel, coil packs, heads, starter, alternator, water pump, injectors, fuel injector rail. Now that's obviously only if you're using the truck intake. But flywheel, starter, alternator, heads, coil packs. That's, if you price all that stuff out by itself, it's over $400. I also really prefer factory coil packs over aftermarket coil packs, especially the coil pack harnesses. So for me, money, the heads, even valve covers, starter, money, crank pulley, money, even though I have a million of those, tensioner, money, water pump, money, alternator, money, power steering pump, money, intake, money. This drive-by-wire said it's an 05, but who cares? At least I don't. Flywheel, money, miscellaneous bolts, money. This actually has a later model fuel rail on it. $400. I mean, I'll take that all day long. But that's just for me personally. because I can use parts. So like in my personal car, I have a 6.0 in it. Well, all these parts interchange with what's in that to an extent. I'm actually running square port heads on that, so these are cathedral ports, so it really won't work. But if you're, you know, so customers, most customers, they already know what engine transmission they're going to use when they reach out to me. But I have had a couple like, what do you think I should get? And for me personally, especially if you're a first time LS person, whatever's cheap and whatever works. Now, that does mean buying a used engine, which we've gone over the whole, do you buy used or do you just buy brand new rebuilt off the bat? That is completely up to you. That was in a separate video. No need to go through all that. But I think a very good first timer setup for something somebody wants, reliability and power plus good sound, is a cheap 5.3 4.8 with a rebuilt 4L60 and a sloppy stage 2 cam, because they are stupid cheap now. You can get them on Amazon now. I know, buying a cam off of Amazon, I know, I'm just saying, you can go Googling it. People have ran them, the cheap ones, and I mean like $80 and they've had good results. Now, just like anything that's mechanical, it could be name brand and it could still fail. So do with that as you will. But for me, I would say a 4.8, a 5.3, because they're the cheapest you can get unless you live up north. Up north, you can get a 6.0 for essentially 4 cents, which must be nice. Or you can even get a whole rusted out vehicle for 40 cents and use everything from that. But down here in Texas, 4.8s, 5.3s are the cheapest you'll get. Gen 3. A 6.0, they're expensive here, $1,000 to $2,000. It depends on whatever mileage they say that they have. My personal preference is a cammed Gen 3 6.0. I would take that all day, every day, twice on Sunday, because they're just, an LQ4 makes 325 horsepower at the crank, bone stock. An LQ9, which is what the Satellite has in it and what my Escalade has in it, those make 345 to the crank. So you just add a cam and you're well into the 400s at the crank with obviously a tune. You gotta remember, once you start camming stuff and changing parts and wanting to make power, you need to know a tuner. That's not me. It's somebody else. But yeah, I mean, now I would never sell a customer an engine that I have sitting around in the background, because I cannot guarantee that they're any good. That's why I get them for me. Used, unknown mileage. Used, told me like 200K, but I'm sure it's 300K. I can't sell that to a customer and be like, unless you understand, I can't guarantee it. I don't, you're essentially still buying it from Marketplace when you buy it from me, because I don't tear them down. I don't rebuild them. I don't, as long as that crank rotates 360 degrees with no issues, I'm running it. And then if something happens, I'm pulling it out. I'm gonna go spend $500 on another one, slap it right back in. I just don't think it's necessary. Well, sorry, I don't think it's worth the money and the time and the snowball into more parts and stuff to rebuild a 4.8 or a 5.3. If I was gonna rebuild something, I would at least start at a 5.7, the LS1s or the LS2s. 5.7 to 6.0 and up. I would not waste my time on a 4.8 or a 5.3. That's why they're such a good like starter combo setup, because you just get one cheap, you throw a cam in it, and you just send it. And you get your swap done, you drive it, maybe it burns a little oil, so what? It still runs, it drives, you can enjoy the vehicle. And then on the side, build you a 6.0, bore it out to a 6.2, and build an actual engine with horsepower. But yeah, that's just me. Junk engines. If I try to get them complete, 100% complete, so that I have alternator, power steering pump, coil packs, injectors, truck intake, heads, coolant crossover, bolts, flywheel. I mean, starter. There's just so many parts worth $400 to me off of that engine that it was worth it for me to drive down the street and pick it up. Now, maybe I'll just turn around and sell them because I kind of need the space. But at the same time, I do LS swaps very rarely, especially now, money wise. It's a little bit harder for me to do an LS swap for the channel that's like a personal vehicle that I swap to make build videos on and then sell, because that hasn't gone too well. If you don't remember the Camaro and the Torino that I did, hard sales, tough crowd. But for me, yeah, all I care about is if the engine rotates 360 degrees if it's used. Now, you can, if you want to be one of those people, I wouldn't let you do it if I was a seller, unless the engine was rebuilt. I would show you proof of the internals. But if it's if you come at me asking, can you take the valve covers off? Can you take the intake off? Can you take the oil pan off? Can you remove a head? Bro, get out of my face. We're talking about $400 for a used engine. Get out of my face. Put me in your mom's face. Where were we going with this? Yeah, 4.8, 5.3, used, off marketplace. Put it together. Change whatever seals you're comfortable changing. Change whatever you want to change. Do whatever you want to do. It's your money. It's your vehicle. For me, change the oil pan gasket. Most time you got to change the oil pan anyways because it's going into a car and the truck pan doesn't fit anyways. So oil pan gasket. Intake gaskets, maybe. Valve cover gaskets, maybe, at the front. Rear main seal. I've told you before I'm 50-50 on that, but sure, while you're there. Sure, I guess. If it starts leaking, I told you it was 50-50. You didn't have to. Probably best to, but you don't have to. Make sure that bad boy rotates 360 degrees. Don't take a picture of the only cam bearing you can see when you pull the front timing cover off, and post it on Facebook and ask, how does this look? It looks like your mom's butthole. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with it. What are we even talking about now? Anyways, good for parts. If you can get them cheap, just slap one in. Do what you need to do. 4L60s, though, I will say, now the transmission-wise part of the aspect of the build is very dependent on what you're putting it in and how much power you're putting into it. If you got a 5.3, if you take my recommendation, you get a 5.3 with a sloppy stage 2 cam, which is like the most used, tried and true setup for an LS swap before the Truck Norris and the Chopper Cobra became a thing. Sloppy stage 2, a 4.8, 5.3, 6.0, the most used combination in existence of LS swaps. The 4L60 is solely dependent. I like the 4L60s, one, because they're a smaller case and they fit in nearly all the vehicles I put them in. Trucks, of course, they fit without any perfectly. You got all kinds of rooms to stick your arm in and around them if you ever need to mess with them. But a good rebuilt one with a good trans cooler on it, just go. Now, it does not matter what transmission you put in it. If you're dogging it at every stoplight and every stop sign, and that the transmission temp is 200 plus degrees every time you drive it, it is going to go out at some point. At 4L80, 6L80, does not matter. Now, if you take care of your stuff and you're not trying to race every Charger, Challenger, or car with black wheels at every stoplight, it will last. A 4.8 and a 5.3 are not making anywhere near enough horsepower unless you throw a swirly boy on it or a supercharger or a procharger. They're not making enough power for you to kill a 4L60E unless you get a 4L60E from the junkyard. You don't know nothing about it. You put it in, it's already slipping, and you're dogging on it at every stoplight. Imagine that. The 4L60 gave up. Most people, really just all people that dog on 4L60s on the internet, are just repeating what other people have said. I've personally had a 4L60 go out during a test drive of somebody looking to buy the truck I was selling. It was like an '02 half-ton truck, Chevy 1500. And the dude rolled up and he's like, hey, I think you only got second gear. He was like, when I left, it was good, but I think you only got second gear. I was like, well. So you would think I'd hate 406s now and I'd bash them, but no. In my 73 Cuda that I had, that I daily drove for almost 4 years, that had a $200 4L60E from Marketplace. I drove that thing to Dallas and back. I drove it out to Crockett, Texas and back. So these are 4-hour round trips, 4.5-hour round trips. Never had an issue. Drove it around town, never had an issue. All I did was I had a bone stock 4.8 bolted up to it. I didn't tow 12,000 pounds with it every day. Go figure. A transmission lasting when you're not towing heavy as fuck with it every day. Or a 4L60, I'll say. And a good transcooler, a D-roll transcooler. And it's still being driven now by the comedian, you might not know, Ralph Barbosa. He's the one that bought it. He still drives. He changed nothing on it and still drives it here in Texas. So, anyways, a 4.8, a 4.8, a 5.3, a 6.0. 6.0 is my favorite. I love me a 6.0. I love me a 6.0. Gen 3 though. Gen 4, yes, but the price is on. Gen 4 stuff is the most sought after and the highest priced LS based engines you will get. Gen 5 engines, you can get Gen 5 engines cheaper than Gen 4 because, well, Gen 5 is an absolute fucking nightmare. And the aftermarket support is practically zero. If you're wondering why I'm not talking about Gen 4 and Gen 5 right now, you know, like good combos, it's because they are just way out of my price range, and I do not care enough because I'm not trying to build a 1,000 horsepower vehicle to just drive around town or drive on a road trip. I don't need 1,000 horsepower. 450 to the wheel, plenty, all I need. But not even that much. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, so 4.8, 5.3. If you can get one cheap enough, 6.0. Sloppy Stage 2. 4L60 rebuilt or brand new, or 4L80 if you want to, you know, or whatever transmission if you want to just spend the money on it. But that's just me. What are you doing? What's he doing? Getting a little sweaty? Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm getting bit up right now, talking to my phone. Yeah, I know. I feel them too. You got balloons? You gotta put water in them and throw them at mom. I know, actually, you got a brother now. Yeah, there you go. Cheap 5.3. Cheap 5.3. Whatever transmission you prefer. Cheap cam. Throw it in. Run it. Good to go. But that's just me. So, appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one.